Subject Teachers Education in Pakistan for B.Ed 1.5 and 2.5. Unit number 1, Introduction to Teaching Profession. In this lecture we are going to cover our topics for modern concept of teaching, meaning of profession, criteria for a profession, teaching as a profession, and teaching compared to other professions. Number 1 is modern concepts of teaching, meaning of teaching. Impart knowledge to or instruct someone as to how to do something. The chief task of education is all about to shape man or to guide the evolving dynamics through which man forms himself as a man. Definition of teaching by philosophers. H.C. Morrison in 1934 says teaching is an intimate contact between a mature personality and less mature one which is designed to further the education of the latter. B.D. Smith 1961 says teaching is a system of actions intended to produce learning. Rayburn's view, teaching is a relationship which keeps the child to develop all his parts. Burton's view is teaching is the stimulation, guidance, directions and encouragement of learning. Annel Gaze 1962 says teaching is a form of interpersonal influence aimed at changing the behavioral potential of another person. Now, traditional concept of teaching and modern concept of teaching. Traditional concept of teaching is that teaching is the act of imparting instructions to the learners in the classroom situation. It is traditional classroom teaching. In traditional classroom teaching, the teachers give information to students or one of the students read from a textbook while the other students silently follow him in their not merely imparting knowledge or information to students. While imparting knowledge, teachers should keep in mind the child as well as the orderly presentation of subject matter. Now, what is modern concept of teaching? Modern concept of teaching says teaching is to cause the people to learn and acquire the desired knowledge, skill and desirable ways of learning in the society. It is a process in which learner, teacher, curriculum and other variables are organized in a systematic and psychological way to attain some predetermined goals. Modern teaching. The modern teaching method is a learner-centered and activity-based teaching method which is used to get learners fully involved. This approach recognizes the learner as the primary reason for the curriculum planning and teaching. The need for modern teaching. The education sector has consistently evolved and transformed over the decades to adapt to modern day development, particularly in the field of science and technology. Subsequently, changes were also made to the manner in which education is imparted from the grassroots level up. Therefore, the latest teaching methods with modern teaching and learning strategies must be both knowledge and technology driven. This is important to thrive and progress in a society as a whole. Modern teaching techniques avoid spoon feeding students and encourage creative thinking and problem solving. This is done by concentrating on developing application-based skills and learner in a manner that's relevant to the increasing needs. With an emphasis on innovation and generating curiosity, new teaching techniques inspire the interpersonal spirit, a crucial vehicle in the development of society. Modern teaching method foster progression. The scope of knowledge has increased. We are no longer isolated from one another and there is a global exchange of information. This has also resulted in an increase in the human potential to adopt and to imbibe global knowledge. This can be done through new strategies and teaching techniques so that education is more holistic. Lastly, by emphasizing an exploratory approach, modern teaching methods shifts focus from pondering to discovering and researching unexplored areas across different fields. Going to discuss about modern teaching methods. Modern teaching methods include some of the famous methods which are collaborative learning. Number 1 is learning in isolation is a thing of the past. The approach taken via modern techniques is to provide students with a platform to work and learn together to achieve synergy. Spaced learning. To reinforce a particular lesson, a teacher will repeat the lesson multiple times with 10 minutes interval. This is done to allow the brain to refresh, usually through physical activity or mindfulness techniques. Flipped classrooms. In this technique, students are asked to do the preliminary work of a particular lesson at home, such as watching a video tutorial or conducting an online search. The homework traditionally done at home is then completed into class, optimize the time and learning experiences of the students. Number 3 is self-learning. Modern teaching techniques encourage self-dependency. By planting the seed of curiosity, students are pushed towards exploring the subjects they find in a more interesting and more depth. WAC teaching. WAC teaching stands for Visual, Audio and Kinesthetic Movement Teaching, or WAC teaching is a latest technique method where a teacher identifies the category in which a student falls, that is, whether they are visual learners, audio learners or kinesthetic learners. Among this categorization, a teacher can better prepare a lesson to cater to their individual abilities. Crossover learning. Crossover learning is a mixture of formal and informal learning. In crossover learning, formal classroom learning is accompanied by the use of the students' everyday experiences and interactions with their surroundings, which forms the informal part of this method of learning. Now, what is the meaning of a profession? The Australian Council of the Profession defines a profession as a profession is a disciplined group of individuals who adhere to ethical standards and who hold themselves out as and are accepted by the public as possessing special knowledge and skills in a widely recognized body of learning derived from research, education and training at a high level, and who are prepared to apply this knowledge and exercise these skills in the interest of others. It is inherited in the definition of a profession that a code of ethics governs the activities of each profession. Such codes require behavior and practice beyond the personal moral obligation of an individual. They define and demand high standards of behavior in respect to the services provided to the public and dealing with professional colleagues. Often these codes are enforced by the profession and acknowledged and accepted by the community. The process of education enables an individual to learn and follow the social values and norms while living in a society. This could be described as the acceptable or positive behavior. Being an active member of the society, the teacher shows and knows the pulse of the society. He brings changes in the course content himself or recommends to the higher authorities for that. However, complexity arises when the social order changes due to diversities in cultures, societies and personal interest. Usually, a human society consists of a group of individuals living together in a place where they share similar resources, objectives, and having some standardized rules and regulations to be followed by all. These standardizations, rules, regulations of a given society are called norms, social or values, and observance of the same is called conformity. Now, criteria for a profession. A profession must satisfy an indispensable social need and must be based upon well-established and socially accepted scientific principles. It must demand the profession of a body of specialized and systematic training. It must give an evidence of needed skills which the public does not possess, that is, skills which are partially inherited and partially acquired. It must require the exercise of discretion and judgment as the time and manner of the performance of duty. It must have a group of consciousness designed to extend their scientific knowledge in a technical language. It must recognize its obligation to society by insisting that its members live upon to an established code of ethics. Some professional teaching qualifications do not make professional. Belonging to a practically profession does not automatically guarantee that the service one provides is a professional one either. Hence, teaching as a professional is a hard thing to do because it encompasses many roles to be played. However, possessing and implementing some criteria can make a teacher stand out as a true professional in his field for the classroom and larger school community. A professional teacher is therefore required to be professional, updated, and capable of identifying the problems of the students, not only in the classroom but also out of them. In classes, he or she will have to incorporate his or his professionalism in teaching learning progress. Now, teaching as a profession, according to A.P.J. Abdul Kalam, teaching is a very noble profession that shapes the character, caliber, and future of an individual. Teaching is a noble profession that comes with so many responsibilities and duties towards students. They keep working to boost the confidence of students and direct them in the right direction. In the field of education, teaching is that profession which makes other professions possible. Teaching is all those systematic activities where the more experienced people influence the less experienced one and modifies the behavior according to the needs and ideas of society. Teaching as a profession is simply mean to make the students learn. It is two-way progress where teacher impart knowledge to the student and student acquire knowledge from the teacher. A person joins in his teaching, he should take teaching as a vocation and he should have aptitude for it. He or she should have mastery over the subject matter. To make teaching career, he should behave like a teacher and also look like a teacher, must have a good dressing sense. He should have some ethics or moral character, ethical teaching. Teaching should know the aims and objectives of teaching. Teachers should have the knowledge about psychology for better advancement of teaching. Teachers must know the method and techniques of teaching. He should know the maximum of teaching. I.E.R. University of Peshawar, Gomal University and University of Punjab. All these three universities offer same program for teachers education program. Either these are pre-service and in-service teachers. The program include M.Ed, B.Ed with both theoretical and practical trainings are imparted. Institutions train teachers for the school of the provided prepared. The trainees are learned more teaching methods and their application in the classroom environment too. The trained staff of this institution has rewrite as compared to other institutions. Research practices also important for M.Ed students and they conduct research on the educational issues in the country. Now, teaching compared to other professions. Teaching profession is considered as a specialized profession and its unique and useful respects profession in society which cannot be compared to any other career. Teaching is considered a noble profession because of its posture and transform learners to become useful to themselves and society at large. The profession is seen as noble because at enrollment it recalls all shades of learner from crude or unrefined to become an asset to humanity with little remuneration or incentive, but they players of services to humanity. From all ramification of human endeavor, teacher is a noble profession because of the nature of services the experts are rendering to the society. Teaching is the mother of the professions. The judge, doctors, engineers and others would not be these professions without teaching profession, where the teacher course is not limited to education but education and ethics and all the noble qualities. A teacher molds a kind of person with technical knowledge, moral values and character. More than a parent, a teacher is responsible for the way a youth shapes up and faces the world. It is more of a service than a job or profession. Teaching is a building process. A teacher is a builder of society. Without any of his dream, his services for all the humans of the world is considered a professional job. Teaching are the nation builders. They shape the career of students and serve the society in large. Teachers take the responsibility of nourishing minds and with knowledge they do a great job with building and developing communities. And yes, thank you so much for this lecture. We'll meet you in next lecture. Till then, bye bye.